The Disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa, Mafia, Motives, and Endless Mysteries, July 30th, 1975. A red Mercury Marquis pulls into the parking lot of the Machus Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. It's a scorching summer afternoon. At 2:15 p.m., a stocky man in a dark short-sleeved shirt steps out, lights a cigarette, and paces near the entrance. He's waiting for someone. That man is James Riddle Hoffa, former president of the most powerful union in America, ex-convict, sworn enemy of the Kennedy brothers, and a man who once bragged he knew where all the bodies were buried, because he'd put some of them there himself. By 3:30 p.m., the car is still there. But Jimmy Hoffa is gone, vanished. No scream, no gunshot, no blood, no body, ever. 50 years later, the FBI still has an open file. The case is colder than a Detroit winter, yet it burns hotter than ever. Because when Jimmy Hoffa disappeared, he didn't just vanish. He took half the secrets of the American Mafia with him. This is the story they don't teach in history class. Buckle up. Section 1. The man who owned the roads. Jimmy Hoffa didn't just lead the Teamsters. He was the Teamsters. By the early 1960s, his union controlled nearly every truck that moved freight across America. That meant he controlled the flow of food, clothes, steel, everything. One phone call from Hoffa and the country could grind to a halt. But power like that comes with friends in low places. Hoffa didn't just shake hands with mobsters. He loaned them millions from the Teamsters pension fund. Chicago outfit boss Tony Accardo, New York's Genovese family, Detroit's own Anthony Tony Jack Giacalone. They called it the street tax. Hoffa called it business. He once told a reporter, "I do to others what they do to me, only worse." And in 1967, someone finally did it worse to him. Federal prosecutors, led by a young bulldog named Robert F. Kennedy, put Hoffa in prison for jury tampering and fraud. 4 years in Lewisburg Penitentiary. When he walked out in 1971, thanks to a mysterious Nixon commutation, Hoffa was a man on fire. He wanted his union back. And the mob? They'd installed a puppet in his place, Frank Fitzsimmons. A yes man who kept the pension cash flowing into Mafia casinos. Hoffa started talking, loudly, about taking the Teamsters back, about exposing the mob's grip, about cleaning house. You don't threaten the Mafia and live long. Section 2, The Last Day, Minute by Terrifying Minute, July 30th, 1975. Hoffa left his lake house in his green Pontiac Granville. He told his wife, Josephine, he had a 2:00 p.m. meeting at the Red Fox with two men. One, Anthony Tony Jack Giacalone, Detroit's most feared mob enforcer. Two, Anthony Tony Provenzano, a Genovese capo from New Jersey with a volcanic temper and a personal grudge against Hoffa. They'd nearly killed each other in prison. Both men later swore they were nowhere near the restaurant. Witnesses saw Hoffa pacing. One saw him arguing with a man in a dark car. Another saw a maroon Mercury pull up, driven by a man who looked eerily like Charles Chucky O'Brien, Hoffa's own foster son and a known Giacalone associate. Then, nothing. At 3:27 p.m., Josephine Hoffa got a panicked call from her husband. "Where the hell are they? This is bullshit." That was the last time anyone heard Jimmy Hoffa's voice. Section 3. The Hit. How they, probably, did it. The FBI's best theory, a classic mob lure and kill. Hoffa was picked up willingly by men he trusted, driven to a nearby house, possibly on Beaverland Street in Detroit, owned by a low-level Giacalone soldier. There he was garroted or shot in the head, his body wrapped in a tarp, thrown in the trunk, and disposed of the same day. The suspects? A who's who of Mafia all-stars. Frank the Irishman, Sheeran, Hoffa's former bodyguard and confidant, later claimed in his deathbed confession he shot Hoffa twice in the back of the head. Salvatore Sally Bugs, Bergoglio Provenzano's personal killer. The Rowland brothers, Detroit muscle, who allegedly cleaned the house with acid afterward. One witness claimed he saw men carrying a large rolled-up rug from the house that night. Another said a 55-gallon drum was loaded into a car. The body? Theories are endless. Buried under Giants Stadium, FBI dug no Hoffa. And crushed in a car compactor in Hamtramck, dissolved in a fat rendering plant. Have flown to New Jersey and buried under Tony Pro's backyard pool. Here's the craziest part. In 2004, Frank Sheeran's daughter found dried blood and brain matter in the Detroit house where he said he killed Hoffa. DNA tests? Inconclusive. The house was demolished weeks later. Halfway through this rabbit hole, and the shadows just keep getting darker. If you're hooked on these buried truths and want the next episode the second it drops, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. You don't want to miss what's coming. Section 4. The cover-up that reached the White House. Hoffa's disappearance wasn't just a mob hit. It was a national security-level cover-up. The FBI found traces of Hoffa's hair and blood in the back of Chucky O'Brien's car, then mysteriously lost the evidence. Nixon's commutation of Hoffa's sentence came with a secret condition. He could never run for union office again. Who pressured Nixon, the same mob that helped fund his campaigns? In 1982, Hoffa was declared legally dead. His son, James P. Hoffa, took over the Teamsters. Some say the mob still runs the pension fund to this day. Final section, the one question that keeps the FBI up at night. Here's the bombshell no one wants to admit. What if Jimmy Hoffa wanted to disappear? There were rumors he had tapes, recordings of mob bosses, politicians, even J. Edgar Hoover. What if the meeting at the Red Fox was a setup to fake his own death and vanish with the evidence? Impossible, maybe. But in 2019, a deathbed confession from a landfill owner claimed Hoffa's body was buried under his property, and that the FBI knew exactly where it was, but let it get paved over in the 1980s to protect bigger names. 50 years. Thousands of leads, zero answers. Jimmy Hoffa didn't just disappear. He became America's greatest ghost story. And somewhere out there, under concrete, in a swamp, or in a witness protection program no one knows about, the truth is still waiting. If you want the next deep dive into the Kennedy assassination, the CIA Mafia plots, or the one man who claims he watched Hoffa get dissolved in acid, smash that subscribe button right now, because the next video drops in 72 hours, and trust me, you're not ready for what's coming. The mystery isn't dead, it's just getting started.